Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a very busy Tuesday night. And we begin tonight with the coronavirus. And the president, just a short time ago, in his first coronavirus briefing since April, saying the pandemic, quote, will probably, unfortunately, get worse before it gets better. Our John Carl asking the president about the president getting tested daily, the president saying every 2 days or so, and John asking whether there should be more money spent for testing for Americans still waiting for hours in blistering heat, and then waiting more than a week in some cases for results. What the president says about that tonight. And this evening, the new report from the CDC revealing the number of infections here in the U.S. is likely 10 times higher than reported. Of course, the numbers that have been reported are already staggering. More than 141,000 lives have been lost, more than 1,000 more lives in just the last 24 hours, 58% of them in the South. More than 3.8 million confirmed cases. But that new estimate from the CDC could mean that tens of millions more Americans may have been infected, many without even knowing it. The study across 10 cities and states. And tonight in Florida, which remains the current epicenter, more than 9,000 new cases, 136 more deaths. One nurse telling us tonight her hospital has only one ICU bed left. Texas tonight also reporting more than 9,000 new cases. And in one Texas county alone, 85 babies have tested positive since March, and at least one infant has died. All of that driving the very real questions tonight about when and how schools should open. Congress today asking executives from top drug companies racing for a vaccine if they would send their own children back, and what they said. And so we begin tonight with ABC's Victor Akendo from Florida.
Tonight, that alarming new report from the CDC. The number of COVID-19 infections in the first months of the pandemic estimated to be likely 10 times higher than previously thought. The study looking at antibody tests in 10 cities and states from March to May, finding depending on the location, the case rate could be 6 to 24 times more than initially reported. We're now in July, with hospitalizations on the rise in 40 states, the South looking like the Northeast did in April. Moments ago, in his first coronavirus briefing since April, President Trump acknowledging the severity of the pandemic.
It will probably, unfortunately, get worse before it gets better.
Hospitals like Baptist Health here in Miami are pushed to the brink.
It's exhausting every day. We feel like we're in a race, a marathon.
With just one ICU bed left, Nurse Rachel Evers says it's wearing on the staff.
Compared to March and April, what are we seeing now in the ICU?
Oh, March was just a tip of the iceberg, and every day it's coming into more patients, and they're very sick.
As cases rise, the debate over reopening schools raging.
The clock is ticking.
Mindy Grimes-Fesky is one of dozens of educators and parents suing Governor Ron DeSantis, who wants kids back in the classroom.
The governor suggested that teachers who don't want to go back inside of a classroom could do something like take a sabbatical. Could other teachers afford to do something like that right now?
Absolutely not. I mean, to make that statement just lets us know that he is not in touch with what's happening.
She and her husband are both teachers, and they're concerned they could bring the virus home to their son, who's immunocompromised. In a congressional hearing today, executives from 5 pharmaceutical companies said they hope to have hundreds of millions of doses of affordable vaccine to be ready by next year. They were asked if they would send their kids back to school without one.
I honestly don't know the answer yet, even for my 3 children. We're wrestling with the same challenges parents across the country are trying to figure out the right thing to do.
So have you come to a conclusion?
No, sir. We're talking about that tonight at dinner. I don't know yet.
Just if you're confused, think about all across America.
Vice President Pence with a different message.
I can tell you with my wife seated right here, if our kids were elementary school age or high school or college, we wouldn't hesitate to send them back to school. Because I've been looking at this data every day.
Tonight, the virus continuing to take a deadly toll on frontline workers. Fiona Tulip mourning her mother, Isabel Papadimitriou, a respiratory therapist in Dallas, writing this scathing obituary, blaming politicians and their lack of action for her death, writing, like hundreds and thousands of others, she should still be alive today. Even inviting Texas Governor Greg Abbott to her mother's funeral, saying his statewide mask mandate was too little too late.
I invited him so that he can see behind these numbers there are real people who are suffering.
State of Jackson, Alabama.
In Washington, D.C., this striking image, the National Nurses Union placing 164 pairs of shoes on the lawn of the Capitol to mourn their fallen.
We think about all those frontline workers. Victor with us now from a testing site in Miami Beach. And Victor, we heard in your report there the concern obviously that continues about schools, how the virus could affect children who could then bring it home to parents and grandparents. You've also got news tonight about summer camps.
David, all summer camps in Miami are now closed after some campers and a counselor tested positive. That is just going to further complicate the debate over reopening schools. David?
All right, Victor Kendo leading us off tonight. Victor, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.